Welcome back, everybody. Dave here. I'm still kind of experimenting around with this modifications of this 3W Wild West stove. You can see my Food Lion $1.19 spark arrestor sitting on top of this titanium chimney, and I have a stainless steel sleeve at the bottom which will fit inside this Wild West titanium stove. So we're going to see what we can make it work. Bring it back just a sec. Alright, this is what it looks like when it's sitting on top of that cooking bacon sheet in the stove, and you can see the stainless steel sleeve sticking through the hole up inside the stove itself, and you follow on up and get all the way up to my homemade spark arrestor. Kind of a little flimsy, flopping around without the tent holding it up, but it is breezy out here. But we'll see if we can't make this work. The real trick to this, the real experiment, is to see just how hot that cookie sheet gets on the bottom of it. Will it truly bake something? Alright, I put a couple of bricks up here to help hold it a little steady. The wind is blowing about 10 miles an hour. We've loaded with a little bit of wood. I don't think we're going to need to get it real hot to determine whether that cookie sheet will get hot enough to bake something. I brought a potato outside, and we'll cut up little slices after we get this pan hot and see what it'll do. Alright, we got a fire lit, so we're going to close the door here. We got the damper full open, and we'll see how long it takes to get this this nice and hot. You hear it drawing pretty good, so it's trying. Well, you can see the seal where the stainless steel meets the hole, and I don't see any smoke coming through, so I'd say that's working pretty good. And the spark arrestor is doing its job. I don't see any problem from there. We'll let this come up to temperature, and then we'll try to slice a potato or something. Let it get nice and hot first. Well, it's okay. So far, so good. You can see I've got the damper door open, and like I say, you want to make sure that before you touch anything on these Wild West stoves, even the old metal thing up here gets hot. But it's drawing good. The homemade spark arrestor, no problems. Just add a little bit more wood so we can really get the stove up to a temperature. So far, so good. Looking up here at the homemade spark arrestor, and it looks like it's doing pretty well. I tell you, that wind is flat blowing out here today, man. Really turned out to be a nice day. It's about 77 degrees. Humidity is not bad at all. I figure we're about 2 or 3 weeks away and we'll get a snort of cold air. Hurricane Ida skirted around us a couple hundred miles to our west and went on up into Maryland and New York City and all that, so we kind of got lucky again. So far, man, this great cookie sheet is not too hot at all, so we're going to probably even have to consider some more modifications. I'm not sure what yet. Bring it back just a sec. Okay, everybody. Stove's been running about 7 or 8 minutes, and surprisingly, right here, it's still relatively cool to the touch. I figured it was really gotten hot by now, but so far, no. We got ourselves a good little fire going. So we'll let her burn down a little bit, and we'll add some more wood and see if we can't get some more heat. But surprisingly, this underside of this stove is not hot at all. Cool to the touch almost. Alright, I've added a little bit more wood. But as you can see, here's the old Tater. And it's still it's still relatively cool to the touch. So I'm not sure whether is this too big of a gap for this to get as hot as I think it's going to or should have. Tell you what, anybody got any ideas, suggestions? Is that I'm just not giving it long enough to get hot underneath there? And today's like 77 degrees. I couldn't imagine if it's like 37, would it get any hotter? You know, comment, tell me, share it, man. See if we can't get some input on how to make this go better. I mean, this stove is plenty hot, man. You put your hand up here, oh boy, that would lay a burn on you, boy. That would be boiling water right now. But up underneath here, no, not at all. It's warm, but not hot. Certainly not hot enough to bake anything. All right, I sliced this potato up, and maybe that'll, you know, yield a bit different result. But thus far, I mean, it's warm, but definitely not anywhere near what I thought would happen. Maybe these legs just aren't thick enough to conduct enough heat, or that gap between the stove and the pan is far enough where the heat just can't transfer. Y'all tell me what y'all think. All right, well, you know what? I think I have figured out the problem. It was my homemade spark arrestor. Apparently there's just not quite enough holes. But you can see how that flame just roared to life. I went up there and knocked it off. And it is flat pouring on the heat now. So we'll see here. Give it a couple more minutes and we'll see just how much warmer it gets. Yep, I believe that was the problem. My homemade spark arrestor there just wasn't allowing enough air. I should have put way more holes, but I'll tell you what, you get your hand or anything now. Oh yeah, even those potatoes, they're starting to show signs of cooking. That was what the problem was, guys. But man, that stove is hot. You had yourself a pan up on top there, that water would be going to town right now. Yeah, just in a couple minutes of taking that homemade spark arrestor off, this has gotten hot. Yeah, you can't keep your hand on there too long, and it's flat building up, and that sliced potato is starting to show signs of getting brown around the edges, and that was the difference. But you can see that flame in there. That's a cooking flame there. Put your hand here on the outside of it. Oh yeah, that's getting hot. Oh yeah, guys, that's a hot fire now. And you just barely put your hand on it. Oh yeah. I'm thinking that even if you blocked off the back, maybe the sides a little bit with some fire brick or something like that, but it would really get hot underneath there now. Phenomenally hot. You'd almost have to experiment exactly how to control the heat, depending on what you were trying to cook in there. You know, fish, biscuits, potatoes. You could probably do a piece of toast pretty easily. It smells pretty good though. Alright, you could probably see how the potatoes are starting to brown up. Yeah, it's really gotten hot on here now. Oh yeah. You can't keep your hand on it. Like I said, I think by blocking the back or the sides with like bricks or fire bricks or something, this would really do good. You know, you'd have yourself a homemade oven. As you can see, you look up where that homemade spark arrestor was, and there is no smoke. Just pure, that looks like fumes. Well, I think I figured out what the problem is. Looking good, guys. Whew. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's, I tell you what, that stayed lit for much more than a few minutes. It would definitely get hot now. Well, it thoroughly cooked that potato, man. I bunched down on it, and that was the answer to the problem. That spark arrestor up top, apparently just wasn't quite enough air getting to it. As soon as I kicked that off, man, it just rip-roared to life. And make no mistake about it, this is hot. The further you get underneath, the hotter it gets. And I would imagine if you block the back and sides off in some way, fire brick, it would really get hot underneath there. Y'all tell me what y'all think, man. Have y'all ever used something like this, or know anybody used like this, or seen this before? Like I said, this nothing but a cookie sheet with a rack on it that you might use to make jerky or anything else. So it costs like $9 at local Walmart. The one you buy from Lux is like, I think, 54 bucks. But I figure if I can do this for $9. Now, Lux, if you're listening, you can send me the real one. I'll test it out for you. Well, I'm going to call this, after a little bit of poking and prodding and experimenting, a success. This does work. I would certainly like to ask everybody to like, comment, share, subscribe. And wishing everybody a safe and wonderful Labor Day weekend. Y'all take care, man. Dave Collier out.